Get rolling. So,
Do this.
we have a couple of things to get clarified. So, we want to talk about our itinerary and talk a little bit about food, stuff like that. So, the last time we went to Ozarks last fall, we started, I believe it was Acres Ferry, and on down from there. The river gets bigger as it goes. It's flowing northwest to southeast in this map, and or in this map section, and it's a little bit or a lot wilder up top. Now the other section that is relatively pretty wild is the upper section of the Jack's Fork River, which is over here.
Wild, do you mean like intense fucking, water's raging through, or kind of like, oh man, this is intense views?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of both. This is a fairly fast-flowing river, but it's not a whitewater river.
We put in, on our trip, we put in at Cedar Grove.
Was it Cedar Grove?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh,
I know
okay.
we went well past Acres Ferry. I think we pulled out of Pool Tight.
Okay, so yeah, so Cedar Grove to Pull Tight is,
We did a lot.
that's mile 81 to mile, call it 97. So 16 miles.
We went Thursday evening and then got to canoe all day Friday, all day Saturday, and then we went really quick Sunday.
Sounds like you guys went hard.
It was blessed. But that wasn't, the further upper part of the river was like really shallow, obviously.
How shallow? Like 6 feet?
No, like scraping the bottom of our boat.
Oh,
Shallow.
dang. Okay.
Yeah.
You're going about this time last year or 2 years ago?
No,
this
we
was in
went
the fall,
I
which
went
is
in
crucially
October.
pretty different
Yeah,
from the
exactly.
spring.
So the water might be higher this time.
That is
Yes.
true. I mean, obviously we had pools of deeper spots, but there were a lot of times where like, whenever the river would jut down and there'd be like rapids, it kind of funnels you down like a deeper channel, or you just bottom out the whole time.
Yeah.
It was a blast.
Dragging the canoe.
I loved it.
But at least this time we got higher waters going in, so we should
Yeah.
be okay.
Yeah, so overnight we're going to be recovering from 35 degrees.
Why don't we go up top
And-
and drop out the Montauk Springs?
We can't. So, this is like fly fishing territory, and
That's why Kane said bring a fishing pole.
they do not like paddlers going through. I had to do that for, we did a research project at Ozark Scenic Riverways, I don't know, 10 years ago. And we had to just float the entire thing and like map a bunch of stuff from the river. And I have never gotten more side eyes per mile than when we were in our kayaks going down, and everybody's like, okay, I'll stop fishing, asshole. So you can go by, asshole. This was my big trip for the year, asshole. Yeah, so the trout population is pretty dense up through here. So if you do like fishing or fresh trout, this is.
So we're dropping in at Cedar Grove, most likely, and going down to the toll ferry.
I'm looking at Tan Vat, which is right here,
Alright.
or Baptist.
Alright.
And I need to call the livery and ask them, or the canoe rental place, what water conditions are like, because we're not likely to get any more substantial rain between now and then.
It's supposed to rain Thursday.
Yes,
to
a
rain
little bit,
Thursday?
but not a ton,
How was it?
at least in this area.
Did it get snow over break up over here?
I think so.
That I don't know. I know
think so?
east of us did, yeah.
So if you got snow in Oklahoma, then they
Yeah.
got snow, so that means the water table's gonna be good then, because it's melting probably right now.
Yeah, it is a visibly smaller river up high, so
It
if.
will get, if I don't know how far down we're gonna go, but if we pass any of the springs, it will
Right.
get noticeably.
Faster. 'Cause
Yeah.
You're gonna have the runoffs.
Yeah.
Alright, well, this looks like we can do about, 20 miles is the goal?
15, 20, yeah.
Sounds like- do we got good spots along the way?
We want to have
Honestly,
plenty of time to like pull off to the side, have a little bit of snack, talk about, you know, whatever we're talking about, but also, you know, if everybody is absolutely feeling every one of those paddle strokes, all 10 million of them or whatever, by the time we get in for camp at night, everybody's wasted for the next day. So yeah, we want to.
Do 5 and 5 every day for the Golden. I'm assuming we're going to pull out Sunday morning early.
Mm-hmm.
5 goes pretty quick.
Say that one more time.
Well,
Oh,
at least
5's gonna
when
go
we
quick,
went.
yeah, but
5 goes pretty quick further down, but this upper section, if this is what we decide to do, it's a little bit more portagey. You know, the shallow sections are a real thing.
Because I want to say like where we put in, there was that like check dam that the road goes over.
Yep.
And we put in just on the other side.
Yeah.
And when we were there, it wasn't very deep at all.
Yeah, and water levels do drop starting about July, August. So that's a thing. But
So is the water higher now than it was then?
yes.
yeah, this is the highest it's going to be all year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so water's higher, but again, this section of the river, like up in Montauk, it's really a big angry creek.
Right. You
Right.
can see on those, it takes some good curves.
Yeah. This is pretty well etched bluff country, and with the past historic land use of resource intensive forestry clear cutting, essentially, you know, there's 40 feet of gravel in the bed of the river. And so we're walking over sections of the river that are trapped in the matrix of that gravel, and dragging canoes for that section. So if that's a little bit too burly, like that's going to be more of an interference with our ability to see wilderness management, talk about it, stuff like that, then we don't want to do the Tan Bat through Baptist through Cedar Grove section. It is gorgeous. It is definitely more wild than sections further down, but it is absolutely more work. And I do have a couple of folks who've never really been in canoes before, so the safety considerations are real.
How many in the other class are going?
We're planning on having, I think, 6.
6 and then
Only
us
6
4.
other people
Yeah.
from the other class.
So 9 total.
Wow.
So we're just taking 2 vans or that one?
Currently planning on the bus because 10 people total
Yeah.
is too
We're
much for a.
taking cheese wagon?
It's the 14-person, like those white activity buses.
Oh, the one Ruffner takes over?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
Same thing.
Cool. At least we got a spot to stop our gear, so if we got people who are newbies, greenhorns, why don't we just drop it right after Baptist?
I've canoed before, not anywhere distant.
Have you done like
Have you done
current, like a river canoeing, or just like still water?
This
So we got a greenhorn. It's gonna
Have
be
you
fun.
done river canoeing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dog.
Which is cool, right?
Paddle
So.
above fucking Korea, dog.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so for anybody who hasn't done wilderness stuff, for anybody who hasn't done, this is halfway swiftwater canoeing. You know, this is the person that this trip is for, not for the folks who've been here 50 times and are like, yeah, whatever, park, you know. So yeah.
Well, I think okay. So I think knowing that we're gonna be kind of like there's gonna be a good handful of people who've never canoed before.
So there's gonna be 4 vets basically, you're thinking 5 newbies.
How many? Do you know how many people haven't canoed?
Is it 3, 6?
I want to say 2 in the other class, yeah.
So
2
we'll
in the
go
other
3.
class, so 3 total.
Yeah.
But
Which
you
is
ha- you have
multiple
done
boats.
canoeing,
I've done
just
canoeing,
not
I just
river.
haven't done it in the river.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's consequence to this set of decisions on where we go.
Yeah.
The current river is particularly not exceptional, but particularly exciting because where the river makes hard turns in short sections,
Oh man.
high sinuosity as it's called, so degrees per meter forward, degrees turn. The current, again, which is fast flowing, the biggest spring in North America
I think so.
is a little bit further down here, and it is boiling out of the ground. So what that does is it speeds up the centripetal force that throws you to the outside of a curve, right into where that same current has also thrown snags, which are down trees with branches aimed upstream or root wads aimed upstream. And if your canoe gets in there and gets flipped sideways, it can snap the canoe in half and hold you underwater until you drown.
No fun, man.
Yeah, you're looking at like 20, 30 tons of force if you hit a strainer at full speed and hit it broadside. So
Think of
that is an issue.
Me and Sam almost lost it when we went.
Yeah, one year there was a canoe with two greenhorns in it, and they were right behind me as we started shooting this rapid on this river. And they nosed my tail and flipped me sideways into a strainer, and I just ate shit. I was like, I'm gonna die right now. This is it. This is what's gonna happen. So,
How
all that to
fun,
say,
huh?
yeah,
I love it. This is getting me excited, man.
yeah,
Dude, how about we take the easy route only because we got so many greenhorns?
absolutely.
Wait, no, okay. Which spring is
Sweet
it?
cheeks, we
Is
can
the
go
big?
up
No,
there.
I know. I'm just asking because I don't. I think our trip saw the. No, I think we went all the way down past Round Spring. I think Pool Tight was where we stopped for lunch.
Damn, you did a lot of freaking
No,
miles.
we did a lot.
You did a
We
lot
did
of miles.
We did a lot. I think we went almost all
Did
the
we go
way
to-
to where they converge.
No, we went to Two Rivers. We
You're
did like
right.
30 miles.
Yeah.
We pulled
Yeah,
out of
we
Two
did
Rivers.
A lot.
Yeah.
I think in total, when we did it, it was like 27 something, just shy of 30.
Yeah.
Still can't believe what
It was
we built up
awesome.
with you guys.
But
So
also, like,
yeah,
our
that
group-
trip was, I believe it was Acres to.
No, we passed Acres.
No,
No, we did. I swear.
we went to Cedar.
I think we put in at Cedar.
That's just dumb. That was so much work.
I-
All right.
dude,
Anyway,
it was a lot.
So yeah, the
Why do you
the
think
lower
I said
section of the
how many
river,
miles are we doing?
Yeah.
the lower section of the river, you sort of get past the sections where there's enough gravel and not enough water to keep everybody moving continuously. In the upper section there, again, it's more wild, and this is a flowing wilderness. And the upper section, the upper reaches as they're called, the top three divisions of the upper current river. So upper, lower current, and Jack's Fork. The top three sections of it are about as wild as they can make it for southern Illinois, or southern Missouri. And that's a thing. I think for the other class, we want to be able to not be like down on the water the whole time. Like we want for interp to be able to check out
The landscape.
yeah, some of the historic interp around
Like
Big
the,
Spring,
what
which
it,
is
the
pretty cool.
hospital That was there.
Yeah, so there's the hospital
I
up
wanna check
here.
that shit out. I'm here literally.
Let's see, so the Welch Hospital, and then Welch Landing's right there. Devil's Well is a really cool spot for environmental interpretation. It's a little bit of a hike.
We also pulled off and saw the Cave Spring.
Yeah, so we paddled into Cave Spring, had a good old time there. Devil's Well is upslope of that. So if we decide to do an upper section of this, like Acres on down or something like that, Devil's Well is a great thing to stop at. But I think for us, maybe, potentially, we can, this section here between Round Spring, especially around Jerktail, there's just not a lot of road crossings and things, and the roads that are available are not particularly huge and stuff like that. The further down the river we go, the more like pickup trucks we'll see parked on the gravel bars on the shore. But yeah, that's all right. Jack's Fork, I haven't been on in a while. I don't have great intelligence on it lately,
It looks literally like a fork.
and it is significantly burlier.
Yeah.
Especially because it's more shallow. There's a ton of little towns along the Jack's Fork, so it's more civilized in that way, easier and closer road accesses. But, God, you're dragging your canoe over gravel for like hundreds of yards at a time at certain times of year there.
Yeah, I think to like For the people who haven't canoed, and this is their genuine first time doing something like that,
Yeah.
I think maybe trying to avoid having to drag your canoe for long stretches
Yeah.
would be best.
Well, we gotta break them in. 100 yards ain't gonna kill 'em.
No, I agree. But you also don't want your, like, what you picture canoeing to be is just like dragging a boat down a river.
That's gonna happen
Yeah.
though,
Yeah,
most of the time
absolutely.
though. But this time of year though, we're safe, so that's why I'm thinking, why don't we just take the easy, shouldn't say easy, but more scenic route to where we can get more of the both classes nailed of what we wanna achieve. Because if we got greenhorns, dude, we don't wanna get flipped and go into the fucking sidewalls. 'Cause I for one don't wanna lose my gear in the goddamn river. I don't know about you.
Luckily, we had a few boats flip on our trip, and I think we gathered everything.
Well, there's the plastic bag trick you do with your gear.
From Two Rivers down to like Waymire or something like that, the river is big, and that is into like powerboat territory because of the shallow draft with all the gravel bars and stuff from people logging over the past 200 years. Prop powered craft are a pretty bad idea anywhere up from Two Rivers, where the Jack's Fork and the upper current combine to make the lower current river here. So this is a super. It's an easy section. It feels like you're on a river instead of on a shallow-ish tributary. It's still pretty fast moving. Definitely more road crossings, definitely more development, lots of cabins and stuff along the shoreline and stuff like that. So this would be the easiest and the least pleasant because getting buzzed by bass boat after bass boat after bass boat sucks in a canoe because the wake hits you broadside and rolls you on your unsteady axis. Yeah. So that's on my mind. It's not generally a huge safety concern. Like, they're not trying to flip you for the most part. That used to be much more of an issue than it is now. But
It should be quiet this weekend too, right on the river? I don't think a lot of guys are
Yeah.
dropping boats until early next month.
yeah, usually about spring break is when this place really starts exploding.
Right,
Yeah.
so we're going in right beforehand, so we should still be able, I mean, we'll have a few of the old cats out there fishing, but they won't bother us.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think if the water is going to be higher, like noticeably higher than when I was down here, I think doing the upper stream before the Two Rivers meeting would be it would be fine.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too, but I'm also wondering how the greenhorns are gonna do on that too.
I mean, if we just have a couple people who are newbies, we can toss them in a canoe with people who know. Like we've
So,
done it.
paddling down Two Rivers again?
Maybe, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
Well, what's
Like-
the route you haven't done, Nash?
I've only been here the one time, and I loved it. And
That was really your only time?
That was my only time.
Oh
ever being
man,
in
you're so
Turner.
ruined for everything else. That was a perfect trip.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah, but to be fair though, you flew through it though, right? Like, you didn't really get to take it in, cause you were going.
We were hauling ass.
We
yeah.
we were tearing it. But also, like, our group was like, I mean, like, we had Joe Ellis, and he's a whitewater guide in Utah. So, like our group was like, a lot of us, I think all of us had experience canoeing.
Yeah, he was probably falling asleep on this.
It was, he was having a blast. I got a video of him and,
For all this talk, there's not really any white water
No.
and stuff like that. You just got to be careful about strainers.
yeah. There was only like, I think,
Careful about strangers.
in the whole stretch,
Strainers.
in the whole stretch
I
we
mean,
did-
strangers too.
Also
If someone
strangers,
walking
yeah.
around in the woods, I'm not gonna go. Talk.
Yeah, if you hear banjo music, right? We all saw Deliverance back in the 1970s.
I
Where
think-
you going, city boy? Now squeal, squeal like a pig.
In that whole section we did, I think there was genuinely 2 instances where the sinuosity was like actually kind of like, oh shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the
Um,
water's gonna be high here, so we should be fine. 'Cause it's
Exactly.
not gonna carry us.
Yeah.
If you're not going as fast.
Because like when we went,
Higher water means faster.
yeah,
Right, but if you're not going fast though, you should be able to ride it through.
you,
Like,
you
if you-
know, you know. There was the one time when me and Sam almost lost it, and then on that same one, Nicholas fell out of the boat and Alexia saved it. That was so cool.
I heard
That
about
was
Nick.
so cool.
I heard about Nick bombing.
I gotta give Sam a hard time about Alexia again. What a story. Anyway, okay, so we're looking at maybe something to pull into Two Rivers.
Why don't we drop off at Acres and go down to
Yeah, I
Round
think
Spring?
probably
Yeah.
Acres to
Round
Round
Spring.
Spring or Two Rivers exit.
Yeah.
That's probably doable.
I mean,
I
Acres should
think-
be fine because look. we
May I
can
point
actually-
at stuff?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure when we went, oh gosh. When we went, the tight spot, when we pulled out, it was like the last day.
Oh shit, we did start at Cedar Grove.
Yeah.
Because we stopped at Welch Hospital.
Yeah, we stopped
you're
at
right.
Welch Hospital.
I'm misremembering that. Okay.
And I think we came out either at Round Spring or Two Rivers. But
No, we came out at. Well,
I don't know.
I'm starting to mix them up. You were last fall?
No, the fall before.
Fall before. Okay. Yeah, I think that was Cedar to
Cedar.
Round Spring.
Cedar to Round Spring.
So
So like this last stretch right here was super cool, very chill, very scenic.
yeah.
We have pictures of like bald eagles over the river.
See, that's the shit I want to see.
But after Cave Spring, this like stretch here, I think was whenever we ran into most of our troubles.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it would be like now. But
So for 3 hours, we got to buck teeth.
it was like 2 turns.
Okay.
It was like 2
yeah.
bends in the river, and you actually had to like be serious.
Dude, that's nothing.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
As long as they're not towing anyone, we should be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, the greenhorns can even
Well,
handle
'cause
that.
also when we went, Dr. Park, one of the canoes,
Full name.
one of the canoes
Look at that.
had 3 people in it,
Mhm.
and that canoe made it through all those spots pretty well.
And I'm
All but
assuming,
one.
All but one.
Yeah, we nosed into.
what, did Nick flip over here?
We
Yeah, this is
nosed
what
into
Nick-
something and.
Mike didn't go in there.
Like I was in the front of that canoe.
Yeah, this
And
is
we
the
hit
first time that
something,
canoe flipped.
And I jumped out and grabbed onto it so the canoe could swing around, and it got parallel to the strainer, the trunk of the strainer, which was good. And I'm like on the strainer, and we took on a little bit of water there, and it dumped the other 2 occupants, but not our stuff. They were
Yeah.
able to swim to safety
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
because then
That was close.
the canoe, the third person, who was Olivia, she got in whenever we went through the spot where me and Sam almost lost our boat and got sucked under a strainer, and then when Nicholas fell out and Alexia saved it, that same spot, she was in Brody and Reese's boat in the middle.
Yeah, but don't lie, were you guys going pretty quick?
No, we knew Joe went first. Jones Miller went first because like I think we all realized that this was like
Kind of serious?
this was gonna be a tight spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe and Ellis went first, and then we followed up and went into it pretty cautiously, and
that happened with some people.
it was tight. It was. I mean, when we went through that bend, it was a left hand. It was a right hand turn, left side sinuosity, and I remember I was in the back of the boat because I weigh more than Sam, and we're both paddling, and it was just like we were just so in sync that whole time. I think at one point both of us realized, oh fuck, and immediately just started like paddling, like the deepest, heaviest paddles we taken that whole trip. And I remember looking over the edge of the canoe, had like a little black rim on it, and that water was like parallel with the black rim,
Yeah.
and our boat was like this coming up on the strainer, and I was paddling because I was like, man, if that water comes up even just 1 more inch, like
We're screwed.
it's going to
Tip.
it's gonna suck our canoe like this and then suck us under the strainer. And it was a little tight spot. Lots of fun, didn't lose it.
So you shit your pants for 10 seconds?
Yeah, and then we were good.
Yeah. Can you handle 12 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay then.
Unless
That's what
the
you're.
12 seconds turns into debt, and then that's an issue.
No, I'll talk to your girlfriend about that.
Nonsense.
Nonsense.
You'll be fine.
You get insurance for this school, you'll be fine.
So what if we
Damn it, Ian,
what if we put in at Round Spring
Yeah.
and
idea.
kind of started our trip with Round Spring Cave
Okay.
and into Two Rivers.
It's cool. Are we doing this Friday as soon as we land?
This would be.
What time are we leaving Friday morning?
We're leaving at 6. Like, we gotta leave at 6.
Cool.
So we gotta be here 5:30. You want to pick kid up?
Yeah, I can pick you up. You're on West Campus?
Yeah.
Which building?
Stiegel.
Yeah.
Well, you know where you're at. You know my address, Boogie Boy.
Yeah, further down we go, it avoids some of the stuff. This section, Cedar Grove here,
That was really cool.
that's really pretty and remote. That's where most of the dragon wagon stuff goes.
Yeah, I think I.
Portaging. And most of the strainers are that section and then a little bit south where you get more current and not a lot of choices to maneuver to stay away from the strainers. Further on down, like really jerktail and below, I don't recall there's anything even remotely intensely scary. Yeah.
Let's do Roundtail then, because
Also, I feel like
Round
we're
Spring?
we're like hyping the scare factor of this way high. It's really not that bad.
Well, I feel like I've heard stories about you guys almost dying for 30 minutes. I was like, so the whole trip you guys were just
No.
shit. We're probably dead. Oh well.
No.
It's just those moments stick out in memory a lot.
No, most of the trip was
Deaths
like
always do.
most of the trip was super cool. Like we saw river otters. They swam like right next to us. Brody was like speaking river otter, and like having communication, like full blown conversations with these little guys.
then I'm gonna have fun.
There was a lot of very chill moments, great places to camp. Like a lot of it was very relaxing, very fun. I can show you pictures.
Yeah.
And then whenever he was talking about that stretch where you're just dragging butt, I've got a video of Joe and Smiller. It's like, you know, like in a cartoon where they're like paddling together but they're not going anywhere. That's the video of Smiller and Joe.
Where you're
They're
like
both
pushing
sitting-
on rocks.
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
doing it in sync and their boat's not going anywhere and they're just splashing water everywhere.
Should have been Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Because you said insane.
Okay, so let's.
What's the decisions made? Round Spring it is.
Yeah.
I have spoken.
And that's probably river miles 72 to 54. Let's round up. So
Yeah, it's gonna be a good trip.
2 miles 54, 18-mile trip. Not too bad.
No, it's gonna be a good trip.
So we can cover 18 miles in one horrible day, or spread it out over really 2 days, and then maybe camp somewhere around Two Rivers, and our third day up and out with some just on the hoof stuff. Walking
As long
around.
as we can cover, you know, half and half, we're cool, you know what I mean? So we shoot for the 12 first day.
Yeah.
I'm even sure, dude, we can get further down to Powder Mill here. I mean, if you say the water's gonna be clear and easy, if it's gonna be high, I don't mean to say easy, but if it's gonna be high, we're gonna have speed on our side, we can cover a lot of ground quicker.
You just gotta like think about the turns.
Cause there's not that many turns up here, I mean, look at them, you can kinda go, Broadfoot's gonna be the hardest one, and then you get down to Goose Bay. Those are gonna be the two hardest turns versus, you know, up further.
The genuinely hard turns in this don't show up. They tend to be small enough that they're just like tiny little wiggles. You gotta zoom
Right.
way in to find them. But yeah, okay, so that works pretty good. Okay,
Now we should figure out food.
round spring on down.
You got a tent?
But I have people I can borrow from. So. I went home over the weekend, and it turns out that most of all the camping shit got thrown away. So I didn't have anything there.
I still got
Well, I'm the
my
only
breath.
one who goes outside my family, so.
So they're like, yeah. No
So they're like,
difference.
oh, he's gone. I guess we don't need it. I'm like, I paid for all that shit, guys. Don't throw it away.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I was just at school, I'm not dead.
Yeah.
I didn't
My
die
parents
yet.
did the same thing. I moved out, for college, and they immediately like
Took over
repainted
your
my
room?
room, threw away all my furniture, got other stuff. I was like, I'm home now, but this isn't my room. This is weird.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why my walls are painted lilac purple.
Yeah, they put all my stuff in the garage, and then whenever my sister had to move back in, they went, "Hey, when we move you in this year to your apartment, we're gonna bring everything that's yours." And I was like, "It's a horrible idea." But okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
We're gonna move you completely out. Yeah. Basically, what I'm fighting for.
Okay.
So we're going from Two Rivers. We can cover that 18 miles pretty quickly. I mean, we can cover 10, 12 miles the first day.
I mean, shoot, that's just 9 miles a day.
Yeah, literally, that's what I said. We can cover 10 the first day, no problem.
Yeah, it'd be like a long Friday.
I think in our hour and a half
I'd
trip
rather have a
with
long
Ruffner and
Friday.
Forestry 100, we covered like 2 or 3. So 9 a day isn't anything crazy.
Oh, dude, when you're with Ruffner, dude, you cover mileage quick.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ruffner hauled ass.
Yeah,
I was
Ruffner
like,
hauls
ass.
I was like, I'm glad I kind of know how to canoe because like we're almost there and everybody else is way back there.
Ruffner
Yeah.
was like
Ruffner
school and
hauls
indoor on how to
ass
walk. Yeah.
Every moment.
There he
that
is.
He's in the
Hey.
woods. Yeah, there he is. Now he's like, he's like gotta be one of the fastest people to walk through the woods that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah,
I like
and
cannot
quieter
do-
too.
And quiet.
Yeah, I know. He channels his Native American country spirit.
So we're doing Round Spring to Two Rivers.
Yeah, and that'll give us a little bit of time on probably second half of Saturday, and whatever we want to do for Sunday morning to do anything else like Big Spring, for example, or so we can walk around and see.
Is like on our trip, I mean we did almost 30 miles in like 2.5 days.
Yeah, I ain't trying to
Maybe
kill
more.
my balls on this.
Right?
trip.
I don't. Yeah.
I got
It was
spring break
honestly a
coming
lot,
up.
but that Sunday, we made a group planned to go to Lambert's Cafe,
Mm-hmm.
and so we were like, we need to be off the river by like noon, so we can get to Sykeston by this time. And we like that last day, I think we were still like 6 miles or so from like getting out. We did that shit in like 2 hours, if that. Like it was quick.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not worried about us covering mileage quick.
Yeah, down on the lower sections of the upper current toward Two Rivers, if you're working at it, you're moving about 4 miles an hour. So,
Oh, if you're farting though, you're going 5 or 6.
well, that's
The extra jet propulsion.
that's a lot to keep
So,
moving.
like doing Round Spring to Two Rivers was like finish the river, basically.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Pick up where we went out. Cause Round Springs where that big bridge goes over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is where we pulled up. And then we had to do the silent football punishment. That was hilarious. It was just a great trip. Okay,
It
was a
was.
good one.
Yeah.
You keep talking this up, dude.
I'm gonna talk it up because that was honestly maybe one of the best trips I've ever taken. Easily top 3, but like it's really contending for number 1.
It was pretty good. It's pretty good. I would put that up there in my top 3 that I've ever been on that river. So, okay. Good deal. All right. Food. Let's talk a little bit about that. We have any time left to talk about Regression County, which was the assignment for today, and finish up our day.
I'm glad we're hammering this stuff out now.
Okay, so we can just say, everybody take care of yourself, and I have some stoves and stuff like that. We can, throw in together and make like a big thing of chili one night, big thing of oatmeal one morning, that kind of thing for everybody. Probably save a little bit of cash that way, but it's a little bit more logistics and organizing and planning and stuff like that. So, what particular sense of things do you guys prefer when it comes to making yourselves warm and well fed?
Dude, I can live with hot dogs.
No.
No hot dogs?
Good.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, that's good with me.
Okay.
I could eat that all weekend and I'd be fine.
All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Dude, you don't have to keep them cold. They can stay like, you know what I mean, room temperature.
On,
Or if we really want to get fancy while we're going through the canoe, we can put them in a little bag next to us and keep them refrigerated.
On the trip we took, I think we started planning food a lot sooner. But on the trip we took, we did group meals, which was really cool. It basically worked out to we split up into like groups of 3, and each group had like 2 meals that they had to do,
Yeah, ain't that rich, bro?
and we just had to like. It was really cool. Like one day we did, like my group was in charge of breakfast, so we did like pancakes.
Oh, I get what you're
And-
saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and we just made pancakes for everybody. So like while we were like, we woke up, got our like
You did
tents
KP,
down,
yeah.
and then we like made food for everyone while everybody else did like filtered water and this or that.
Cool.
And then we just packed up our food and hot on boats.
I think we're a little too late to do that kind of management, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm cool with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And breakfast again being hot dogs.
Yeah, I'm also cool with just doing solo food this time.
Okay.
I bet if that works for everyone else.
Well, to be fair, like,
Are there any food allergies between the groups?
Not that I'm aware of. Nobody's mentioned anything so far.
because to be fair, dude, I can go to Walmart as I was just there this morning, but I can go and pick up, a couple packs of Oscar Mayer weenies or the all beef,
I actually had 2 hot dogs today for breakfast.
Dude, I was
There you
gonna
go.
do that this morning, but to be
You're
honest,
pre-gaming. The weekend.
dude, to be honest, dude, like,
I was gonna say,
I'd rather take a shit of a hot dog shit than like, anything else, you know what I mean? Like, I know where that shit came from, literally. But we gotta ask Ian though too, even though I'm sure he won't care, cause the dude's a human garbage can like me.
Okay, so we'll go with solo food for now, and
You wanna jump in on this hot dog adventure?
yeah,
Master
I'm
Man?
good with hot dogs every single meal for the few days. I'll pick up a couple packages and I'll be good.
Oh my god.
can I
It's gonna be hilarious, dude.
Let
We're
me
all gonna have,
recommend-
like, 5 packages of hot dogs. I brought food. No one brought buns? Oh, fuck.
So hot dogs will get you pretty far. They'll also get you pretty constipated.
Yeah,
'cause it's
exactly.
0 fiber, 100% processed.
That'd be a buns.
Yeah.
Ultra processed. And that's a lot of nitrites. So if you do end up dying on this trip, your body's gonna be well preserved already from the inside out.
That sounds good to me. You'll be able to find me in the
Load it up.
straight
and
positive
load it.
identification.
Cheaper than a funeral. No, that's
Fucking
terrible.
potato sacks.
I'm not serious about that. Alright.
Wait, we didn't bring potatoes too, cause potatoes we can just throw on the fire, wrap them with a little tin foil.
There we go.
So you want-
Bag of potatoes and hot dogs. I mean, we're set.
Yeah, I love how he's writing vegetables down, like, potatoes is not a vegetable, you Irish fuck.
Honestly, if I'm gonna be so for real with you guys, I'm probably going to bring just what became 80% of my diet I had over summer camp.
Which was what?
Tortillas, peanut butter, Nutella, granola.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
And dried fruit.
Yep.
Like that
Yeah.
was pretty much 80% of what I ate for a month, and it was great.
Cool.
Cool, cause I got the granola, I got peanut butter, you can be my tortilla.
If anybody wants to bring a fancy coffee setup, you make a bunch of friends that way. I'm just
Okay,
gonna bring a
you're
bunch
right.
of like this, like freeze-dried coffee one-shot things. They're disgusting, but they'll get the job done.
got
And coffee
points.
will also help you move those hot dogs through and out. Right? So
Hey, the way to.
you eat like a laser.
Way to have a laxative.
We were seeing like while we were paddling down the river.
Sea shanties?
Yeah.
I
it was
don't know
awesome.
any off the top of my head, but
That's
I'm always
crazy.
willing to learn.
That's crazy. Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, I swear.
The Wellerman. That's right.
Chunk of my stuff.
That's a good game, I do love that game, but I'm more of a Mortal Kombat dude.
That's right.
See, back in my day, we had to play at the arcade. So, hot dogs and vegetables and tortillas and peanut butter and granola.
Can you bring your Dutch oven, please?
Oh, I can Dutch oven myself, dude.
That big one.
Yeah, we'll bring the big iron Dutch oven. We can cook on coals. Try and remember to bring a coal starter as well.
Do I gotta bring cake mix? If we wanna make a Dutch oven, we gotta do a Dutch oven cake.
Like a duck cake.
Yeah, see, I was gonna do another apple pie.
So, okay, you win.
Yeah,
As long as
'cause
you-
the first time we went, I did that. It was a hit.
Dude, as long as you make
Pretty well.
a good slice, I don't give a shit. I don't wanna be nice and fucking baked.
Slices are pretty fancy. We're going for like scoops or handfuls of it. Yeah.
That's what I'm going for
Yeah.
too, but hey, as long as I'm not trying to be a greedy fatty. Cause I wanna make sure I have a nice good BMW. I might go in the river and release it like a bear.
So let's talk about wilderness monitoring. All right, so on Thursday last week we were talking about Regression County, and I had just a quick assignment to go somewhere, capture some regression traffic out of a lot or parking area anywhere close to where you live or whatever.
Did we do any of that, boys?
Do it.
Yeah, I went twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't do any, to be honest with
Cause
you.
I was
Alright.
gone the whole weekend, so.
Yeah, I was gone. I left Thursday, right after class, literally I left.
So, for those of you who did get it done, how'd it go?
There's almost nobody at the park near my house, so it was relatively low most of the time.
Okay, so relatively low means what?
Meaning like 2 to 4, 5 seat cars.
Wait, were you actually at a park or like a wilderness park?
It's probably more of like a nature preserve thing.
Yeah, okay.
Cause they don't do anything with it. I don't think they manage it. They
Like just kinda
put a
in town
fence
kinda
around
thing?
it and leave it be.
Green area, yeah. Okay. So the context of this is a way for you to get intelligence or surveillance on what is the internal state of your wilderness area. And we would call this non-destructive sampling because you're not affecting folks with your presence. When you have a whole bunch of video cameras and traffic counters and all of this stuff, there's this sort of clearer sense in the wilderness user that they're being managed, that they're being watched, because effectively they are. Now we don't care who shows up, we just want people to show up and enjoy it. But it does kind of get at that sense of wildness and solitude, and I can get away from the man and the government and stuff like that in these wilderness areas. So these regression counts pretty important for having a light hand, a light presence on what's going on. This is going to be our first way in setting up a pretty clear kind of mental or even actual like mathematical model of how many people are in there, where are they, what are they doing, what are the impacts associated with it. So this is going to be our kind of entry point into the off-site management for wilderness. All right, so you're saying like 2 to 5 cars
Yeah.
at a time, so. And typically sedans, or was it a bunch of pickup trucks, or?
No, they were all like typical 5-seat, 4-door.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So sedans.
Sedan.
So there's pulling over Smoky Smokies.
Yeah,
Or
so
the-
we'll say, you know, let's just pick a magic number, 1.8 people per vehicle. Generally speaking, in suburban United States, we have folks driving solo or with one companion, typically not like jamming 6 people into those 5 seats. So what we do is multiply that magic number, which you don't just make this up, right? You calibrate it on how many people actually show up on average in each of these different vehicle types. So that's pretty straightforward math, and all of a sudden you know pretty well how many people are there. And it might be 2 people per vehicle that day, it might be 1 person per vehicle that day. It doesn't matter, right? So if you have 5 people versus 6 people at a time, who cares, right? We gotta get to managerially close enough to make decisions and get some work done. We don't need to know exactly down to the person who's present. So regression counting is super powerful because it's cheap, it's easy, and it's really good enough kind of a thing. So
It's not effective, but it's close enough.
yeah, and this is different. In in managing a national park or something, they really want to know how many people are present down to the person, and so on and so forth. They report that out for getting funding for the next year and all this stuff. And for wilderness, it's like, yeah, okay, we got X-ish number of people. So this is pretty good. How big was the lot that had anywhere from 2 to 5 4-door sedan type vehicles at a time, or crossovers or small SUVs?
How big was the lot?
Yeah, how many spots could it fill? Would you say just
Probably
ballpark?
12.
Yeah. Okay. So
10 to be safe. Easier math.
And typically we want to round up on that because when a wilderness lot fills up,
Park
people,
outside.
yeah, people will park on the road entrance down to it and, you know, kind of tear up the roadside a little bit, but they're sending you a good signal as a manager of, okay, our demand is outstripped, or has outstripped the supply present, number of spots in this lot. Now we have a real concrete choice to make, no pun intended. Do we want to increase the size of this lot, increase the amenity, increase the access, increase the safety of people who don't have to park on the side of the road and risk rolling their ankle down into the ditch or whatever? As goofy as it sounds, like a lot of accidents happen around the trailhead even before you get in there, or right as you're coming out, or not, right? So if you got 2 to 5 vehicles here at a given time, we're gonna expect that that's about right for most of the year, right? So law of large numbers says that if you get a whole bunch of numbers, each one of the individual times that you count how many vehicles are present, none of those is going to be exactly the true like average number of vehicles, but it's generally going to be pretty close. Like 95% of the time, you're going to be, you know, plus minus 1 around the 2 to 5 range. And if we have 12 slots available, we're good to go. So the first impression that people have of your wilderness area isn't of the wilderness area at all. It's this.
How you park them and how you.
Yeah, like if you're going to Garden of the Gods for the first time, never been there before, you just heard cool stuff about it, and you rock up to that little parking lot there, right by that little loop trail that is outside the wilderness. The wilderness is all around it. And it's crawling with people, and you have to like circle twice to find a spot. You know, your sense of Garden of the Gods wilderness area is, man, this is busier than the city park I drove. Why did I spend an hour just getting here? You know, if I'm just gonna be just dodging other people's little kids and little ankle biters running around in front of me and stuff with their LED equipped shoes and stuff, just doesn't sound like wilderness to a lot of people. So this regression count gives you a sense, and it gives your visitors a sense of what's going on in here, right? They're making the same basic calculation that you are, just without as much information as you have as the wilderness ranger. They don't know what that multiplier is, that 1.8 in this case. And so, as it turns out, in the mind of your visitors, the wildlife species that you're managing for wildlife or for wildland recreation purposes, that PPV, that people per view shed, or vehicles in this case, vehicles per view shed, is a critical thing or first impression that kind of sets the temperature for the whole rest of the trip. Like, if you get to a lot that's full, all 12 slots are filled up, you're already thinking about the rest of the experience differently and in a more negative way, because most folks aren't coming there to encounter a bunch of other people. All right, so we're out of time for today. If you can, get a lot regression count just to get a sense of what this actually goes like. It's super simple, right? You just take a look at the lot a couple of times, count the number, and take a look at the kinds of vehicles. And we'll start getting after not just regression counting, but turning movements, and we'll get a pretty sophisticated sense of what's going on without even having to walk all the trails and plan for on-site stuff. Okay, cool. That's it for today. All right, so we got our wilderness stuff planned out, itinerary and food. We got regression counting on the way. Cool.
We have questions.
Oh, we'll just see what he said. I'll stop at Walmart, pick up food, because I'm gonna grab.
If you have any questions, I can give you a comment.
Yo, LP, are we just
He
doing
and I
one
are meeting
cooler?
up too.
yeah, man, we're not gonna need.
Yeah,
I don't think we're gonna fill up one of them coolers. So
I'm gonna be honest with you. When we went, we had an.
Whenever you do
I
that,
know,
I feel like you're about to tell me a dirty little politician.